Welcome, welcome, Pain Pros, to today's training. Today, I'm going to reveal to you my new content that I'm rolling out here inside the Academy, the Yoga Genius Roadmap. The Yoga Genius Roadmap is your step-by-step path to becoming a yoga teacher who gets life-changing results for your students. You already know that you are hugely contributing to helping your students live better lives. But what if you could have exponentially greater impact? What if you could know with absolute certainty that your teaching is literally changing their lives, changing the course of their lives? This is what happens when your teaching fixes or mitigates the persistent pain issues that they are suffering from right now. Let me share my screen here, show you this image that I just created for this, the Yoga Genius Roadmap. Stage one is where you are teaching the genius principles in the existing yoga postures that you are teaching right now. Stage two is where you start to help individuals, you start to help your students, clients, friends, family, by maybe giving them a little bit of time after class and then eventually working to offering one-on-one sessions with them. And stage three is where you become well known for getting amazing results with pain. Now, the common thread through all of these stages is this road that you can see going through the image that's called the Genius Principles, because the proven pain postures inside our academy, you have already seen the 10 proven pain postures, and they don't magically work just by themselves. They work when you know how to teach them. And as you already know, that means you know the correct alignment points and you know the correct actions to teach your students inside those postures, right? Those are what I call the genius principles. The genius principles basically are at the very root and foundation of using yoga postures to make crooked bodies that are causing pain and organic dysfunction straighter. The genius principles are Mr. Iyengar's teaching. He showed us how to teach the postures so that the postures are not ruled by your students' long held, crooked, imbalanced patterns, which, by the way, 99% of all yoga postures being practiced in the world today are completely being controlled by that person's postural habits, crooked, imbalanced postural habits. Those habits are literally controlling how everybody does their yoga postures. And it's Mr. Iyengar's genius principles that show us how to take a posture that is definitely helping them for sure. And it's improving their life, but it's not necessarily getting life-changing results. And it's certainly not consistently, reliably, and safely fixing the real pains that are keeping these people up at night, fixing the real pain that that are taking that are stealing their life, that are taking their life away because they can do less and less of what they want in their life because their body's breaking down and the pain is starting to rule. And this is just a natural thing that happens in life that we're all up against, right? And it's Mr. Iyengar's genius principles that transform your teaching from a helpful lifestyle, making their lifestyle better, to actually changing their lives. And it's these principles that make the proven pain postures inside our academy safe and incredibly effective. for fixing all kinds of pain, even very, very serious pain. But guess what? Those same principles are at the root of, or can be, and will be for you, at the very root and foundation of all of the postures that you're teaching already in your classes. Once you understand these principles and learn these principles, you actually don't have to just start teaching these 10 postures that I've given you in the academy. You can start to apply these principles and learn these principles for yourself and learn how to teach these principles with the yoga postures that you are already teaching. So you don't have to change anything in the structure of your classes, what you're already teaching, but you can start to get truly life-changing results, even in this beginning stage. And then as you mature with that and as you get more experience with that, you will see results that will surprise you. You'll have your students come and say, wow, this is really feeling better. And it'll be a pain that they probably talked to you about for a long time that you never knew what to do with. And at that point, then you can go to the next stage when you have some confidence and you can actually chat with students or friends or family, whoever it is. And you can take 10, 15 minutes after a class and you can show them one or two of the pain postures that you know are specifically going to be good for their issue. So now you're teaching your regular classes. You're already getting more impact in the classes that you're already teaching. They're starting to see this difference in your teaching. They're starting to experience a difference in the results of coming to your class. And it's a very natural segue for you then to offer just some little teeny bits of time to show them one or two postures. And then you will be moving the needle for them even more significantly. This is where you'll build even more confidence. You'll see how amazing the pain postures are, how easy they are to teach. And then over time, if you choose, you can, from that foundation, become the teacher who knows how to work with very specific pain problems. You will then be able to get one-on-one private sessions with your students to specifically help them with their pain problems, and you will get amazing results and you'll be totally fulfilled by it, because here you are truly changing the course of your student's life. And as we can see from this infographic, your confidence level goes up from, in the beginning, surprised to be getting results. And then your confidence is growing when you're having those results and you're offering some little teeny 10, 15, 20-minute, let me see after class if I can help you out with that. And in the last stage, your confidence grows and it is truly unshakable when you really have mastered the pain postures and you are helping people in pain. Your results improve, your reputation improves, your income will go up, and your identity will go from I teach yoga to I help people with pain to I transform lives. And it doesn't matter where you are on this Genius Principles Roadmap, the Yoga Genius Roadmap. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're teaching the Genius Principles, your students are going to start to get life-changing results, and it will only get better and better. I'm super excited to roll this out to you all, and I am going to, there we go. I'm going to start by giving you a very quick lesson in the very first posture possibly that you teach your students, or one of the most basic postures that you are probably teaching them a lot. And that is, can you guess? What would be the most fundamental basic yoga posture in all of the yoga postures that we have and we teach? What do you think the most basic fundamental posture is? The basic posture is Tadasana, the mountain pose. Let me take the screen down just a little bit here. Before I give you this quick lesson, before I share the genius principles behind Tadasana, the mountain pose, I want you to take a moment right now and I want you to think about how do you teach this posture to your students right now? What instructions do you give them? What's the first instruction you give them? Then what's the next? Then what's the next? Then what's the next? Just real quick, in your own mind, imagine that you are teaching Tadasana to your students right now. How do you, or are you teaching it to me? What are you going to tell me to do? I'd be standing like this. My feet wouldn't even be together. Now, let me roll out the very basic genius principles behind this most fundamental yoga posture for you. And I am going to start by giving you a perspective, which I literally do this with my students. I will literally do this in the middle of a class or the beginning of a class or wherever. And I do this with my clients who come to me, they've been referred to me, they come to me for pain. If I take this pole and I align the pole and I get the pole nice and straight and I let my hands go and the pole stays up by itself, what holds it up? If I'm not touching the pole and the pole stays up, what holds it up? Hopefully you already know because you've been in the academy and seen my content. The downward pressure of gravity holds the pole up. What if the pole is a little bit to one side or the other? It will fall to the ground. Why? Because the downward force of gravity will press it down to the ground. Now, you know what's really crazy? I'm giving you my pitch. I'm going to bring you along here, but I want you to use this with your students if you like. You know what's really crazy? We have figured this out with buildings. That's why they use a level. When they built this room, they use a level to make sure that this wall is vertical. Why? Because literally gravity pressing down is holding this building up. And if you walked into my studio and you saw the walls were crooked, or I should say, and the walls were crooked, you would notice it. And you would not come into the building because you would understand the instability and the danger because the building can collapse at any point. How crazy is it that we have not applied this to the human body? Boom. It's a great pitch to share with your students. You're literally educating them as to this whole perspective they've never even thought about. And I'll frequently add with that, gravity is a constant. You cannot perceive something that is a constant. Nobody thinks about gravity. Nobody feels gravity. Nobody ever considers gravity, except for when we're building buildings and stuff like this. But in our bodies, we never think it. It's completely not something that we consider. And yet, our physical bodies are literally fighting the fight. Our physical bodies are crooked, and gravity's pushing them, and gravity's pushing them down to the ground. People do not realize that they are literally losing a battle that they don't even know that they are fighting. Gravity is pushing them down all the time. Their bodies are crooked. They don't know anything about alignment. And so the crooked patterns get more deeply embedded. They get worse and worse and worse. And the overall crooked pattern of the body that essentially comes from dealing with this pressure. We're getting pushed down all the time. That pattern, crooked pattern, is the root cause of so many pains and organic dysfunctions. So when we practice Tadasana, guess what we're trying to do? We are trying to make our body as straight and aligned as possible in the downward force of gravity. all of a sudden, you have a completely different perspective on this posture. You have an idea of actually what the goal is and why. And then I give you the instructions. You can do Tadasana with the feet apart. And you should always do the feet apart with people who have balance issues. If you like to teach it with the feet apart, that's fine. Just make sure that the feet are parallel to each other and make sure that they are parallel. The feet are not crooked. I teach this posture with the feet together. I say big toes touch, heels touch. This is the classic way to teach this posture. And I will teach it this way to everybody except for people whose knees come in or people who have balance issues. Then I say, look at the feet, look at the line between the feet, make sure the line between the feet is exactly straight. Now, from here, look forward at eye level. You don't want to look down. I'll do this with my clients and show them. You don't want to look up. I'm exaggerating. So it really shows them what's wrong with having the head down or up. And the way to start the process of getting this ideal optimized alignment, structural alignment in the posture, is to look forward at eye level. Look forward at eye level. That's going to make it so the chin's not up or down, right where you want it. I say, actually, first I say, have the palms face the hips, look forward at eye level, and bring the crown of your head directly over the inner ankle bones. Where's the crown of the head? Where should the crown of the head be? The first thing we have to do is get the crown of the head straight over those inner ankle bones. Bring the feet together. Practice this with me. Let me teach you this pose. Bring the feet together, have the big toes touch, have the heels touch. Look at your feet. See that the line between the feet is straight. And stretch your toes while you're at it. Look, palms face the hips. Look forward at eye level. Bring the crown of your head straight over your inner ankle bones. And now bring the center of the hips directly between the crown of the head and the inner ankles. What are we doing? We're taking the crooked body. We're using this yoga posture to take the crooked body and make it straighter and straighter and straighter. I'll even say things like, once I've already introduced the concept of gravity, I'll even say sometimes, imagine you can perceive gravity pressing down on you. And if you're not standing straight, gravity's pushing you down. But if you stand straighter, the straighter you stand, the more gravity holds you up, just like the pole. That's the goal. To make your structural body as straight as you possibly can in this downward pressure that gravity is exerting on your body right now. Look forward at eye level, bring the crown of the head over the inner ankles, the center of the hips right in between. That is, sometimes I'll say center of the pelvic floor, depending on who's here. Sometimes I'll say perineum, because that's super specific. Crown of the head, inner ankles, perineum. We are talking structure here, folks. Those are the very basic instructions. And I encourage you to play with just those instructions. Then we can go on from there. We can build from there. Look forward at eye level, bringing the crown of the head right over the inner ankles. Once you have the crown of the head, once you feel like you have the crown of the head right over those inner ankles, straight vertical line right over those inner ankles, see that the center of the hips, the center of the pelvic floor is right in between the crown of the head and the inner ankle bones. And as you look forward, don't look down. As you look forward, perceive, do you feel like your right thigh or your left thigh is farther forward to the wall in front or behind? Do you feel like the left ribs or the right ribs are forward or back? Square the hips so both thighs are the same distance from the wall in front and back. Square the ribs so they're the same distance from the wall in front and back. Shoulders. Perceive the shoulders. Is one forward? And then I'll even include the ears, right? Because you don't want the head turned. Now we've got the vertical line, and we've also got where the body tends to rotate forward or back. more and more refinement. Those are the basic. And I would encourage you, if you're going to play with this, don't talk about the thighs, don't talk about the ribs, don't talk about the shoulders. Wait until you get this first level. Stand, palms face the hips, stand straight, look forward at eye level, bring the crown of the head over the inner ankles, bring the center of the hips exactly in between the crown of the head and the inner ankles. And then I'll literally say, imagine you can feel gravity pressing down on you. You're trying to get your body super straight in the field of gravity. All of a sudden, you have a very, very specific focus. You know exactly what you're doing. And guess what? Perhaps you, and for sure your students, have never done Tadasana in such a way that they take the body out of its crooked pattern and bring it into a more aligned position, a straighter pattern. As simple as this is super mild. It's restructuring the body. It's bringing massive intelligence to what previously had no awareness or very, very little awareness. And not only that, it's really engaging. It's fun. It's like, whoa, okay, cool. Imagine I can feel gravity. That's right. I never thought about that. Like, how straight can I get my body? I'll even tell my students, look at the opportunity that you have right now. Fully leverage this opportunity. You're never taking time to take your body out of its crooked pattern and make it straighter and straighter. Why would you want to do that? Because when your body's crooked, you're losing this fight of gravity pushing down on you all the time. And the straighter you get your body, the more you're literally leveraging gravity. Now, gravity is holding you up. Guess why you feel lightness in a really, really good Tadasana? It's because you have better structural alignment. And the more you follow these points, these alignment points, the more you get that feeling of lightness. Right? So I just want to give you this really quick introductory perspective on the Yoga Genius roadmap that I am now going to be delivering inside this academy. I'm going to be using postures that you are already teaching, and I am very I think that makes the sound go out because my laptop is like, I didn't even try to connect this stuff. So I just want to give you this quick perspective on where we are going here and the content that I'm about to deliver to you. And it is super actionable. I'm going to be teaching you the genius principles, Mr. Iyengar's genius principles in the postures you're already teaching. And very importantly, the postures that you request I teach you. If you ask me for help in postures, I'm going to start focusing on that. But you don't have to ask me because I got tons of content. And what I want you to play with is, first of all, start to think about this idea. When you do Tadasana, it's all about your structural body, musculoskeletal body in the field of gravity. Start to play with teaching these exact instructions, or you can change the instructions a little bit to, how you communicate, but start practicing just a little bit in your class. Start playing with this, and you will see your teaching will be reignited, because Tadasana is never the same pose, always and always the same pose. Oh, it's never the same. It's never the same, because this teaching completely brings you into the present moment, into your body, exactly how it's nuanced and positioned right now, so that you can take this body that's in this particular position and bring it straighter and straighter and straighter. Your teaching will really get juicier, and you'll feel awesome and confident that you know what you're teaching and how to teach it. And your students will start to have a more profound experience from your teaching, because you are literally educating them in a whole new level And so you're bringing their mind to this whole perspective that's massively valuable that they've never ever considered. And as that happens, they're restructuring their body. It's subtle in Tadasana. It's not going to fix someone's back pain, but this is the beginning of you understanding how to teach these principles in all of the postures you're already teaching. And when you get to that level, you will be having students coming and telling you, wow, my back, I've had low back pain for 10 years. And ever since you've been teaching kind of this different way, I mean, it's just been getting better and it's almost gone now. You'll see. So play around with these instructions, reach out to me inside the group and let me know what you want me to teach. If you do have some postures that you want me to teach. And like I said, you don't even need to do that. And let's go for the ride on the Yoga Genius roadmap. I'm super excited to help you start to learn and implement the Genius, Mr. Iyengar's Genius principles in the classes that you're doing right now. Now that we have the alignment of Tadasana, the next would be to show you the actions of Tadasana. Alignment comes first. Got to get the position. Then once you have the position, then the actions, extensions, make the thighs firm, broaden the collarbones, descend the shoulder blades. These actions then really restructure the body. So that's coming next. Let me know if you got some value. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any comments. And super excited to be rolling this out. Cheers.